treat me like this when you know how I feel about you.
Right, I'll shake the truth out of you.
Igor!
Right, then I'll choke it out of you. Once and for all, what did you do to Hank? I want to know it.
Bring him in here.
Howdy, gang. Uncle Todd and Sonny here. And as you can tell, we are back in the old weird West with Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter. The second half of a double bill with Billy the Kid versus Dracula, which we looked at a couple years ago. Made by the same director, made at the same time. If you want more on One Shot Bodine, the director, I refer you back to my review of Masterminds, which I think I went over his career pretty thoroughly. Unlike Billy the Kid versus Dracula, this doesn't have a big major horror name in it, like John Carradine was in that. But you do have a lot of recognizable actors. Our lead is Jesse James as John Lupton, who was one of the leads on the TV show Broken Arrow. So he's got Western cred. Playing his love interest is Stella Rodriguez, best known for Rio Bravo. Let's see. Played the other female lead here. Narda Onyx did a lot of TV work playing villains on like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and stuff. Same goes for our monster, Carl Boulder, who was a big muscly guy and played a lot of big muscly guys on TV like Man from U.N.C.L.E. We also have Stephen Garay, who a very popular character actor, had roles in noir films like Gilda, In a Lonely Place, Spellbound, and comedies like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. We also have Rayford Barnes, who did a lot of TV westerns, and probably his biggest role was it was in the film The Wild Bunch. Very popular character, western actor. Probably the biggest name here is Jim Davis, whose career we went over in Dracula vs. Frankenstein. Best known for playing the patriarch in the show Dallas back in the 80s. Now there's something everybody always points out about this film. Mainly that technically this is not Frankenstein's daughter, it's his granddaughter. But, contrarian that I am, if Frankenstein had a son, his name would be Frankenstein. Therefore, Maria Frankenstein is in fact Frankenstein's daughter, just not that Frankenstein's daughter.
That's right.
Make of that what you will, for those that like to quibble. We open, as we all should open in good old Frankenstein flicks, a stormy night and an experiment with a human victim.
used to disappointment.
Hey.
Oh, wow. Almost success. Maybe some digitalis will help. Or maybe her brother Rudolph is going to sabotage it. Apparently he's done that several times before on their other experiments. And there's a problem. This is the last kid they could find. They've been spreading a rumor in the local village that there's a virus going around, and it's what's killing all these young children. And it's causing people to leave. So the town's almost deserted, except for this guy's family. What could possibly be the solution to their problem?
To use the brains of children that we've failed. What we need is a man. A powerful man, a giant.
Could be.
A giant. Yes, that's what they need. Where are they going to find one of those? That fine specimen of a man is Hank Tracy. Best buds with Jesse James. And after he eventually defeats his opponent in the street fight, they got their minor problem of collecting on the winnings until they realize they're holding out on Jesse James. So now they have money that they can eat on, and then they head off to meet up with the Wild Bunch for a robbery.
You pass through the Paseo del Norte. Do you know it?
Yeah, narrow cut about 30 miles out of Bisbee.
Well, we're going to take delivery of $100,000 there.
$100,000?
I thought you liked the idea. It works at the bank. And when the bank gets fat to the tune of $100,000, they transfer it to Fort Buchanan. And later on, it's sent back east by the Army supply train.
That's a natural place for a holdup.
That's the way the bank figures it, too. And that's why they send a stagecoach on through the pass with passengers and no money as a decoy.
Decoy?
That's right. When the first stagecoach gets through, they signal a second stagecoach that's all is clear.
Looks like they got it all figured out. Only one problem with their plan. You see, Lonnie, that's Rayford Barnes' character. How ironic. He's in the Wild Bunch again. Lonnie doesn't cotton to old Jesse James horning in on their big haul. So he goes to see the marshal.
You get Jesse, and I get the $10,000 reward, dead or alive.
How do I know you're not sending us right into a trap?
Well, I'm riding right there with him, ain't I? If I was lying to you, it'd be easy enough for you to pick me off. Besides, I'm going straight.
Going straight, huh? Straight to the devil, more like it. I'm getting too into this cowboy thing. Anyway, I think we can all tell how this is going to end. That was Lonnie's brother. Think about that. As for Jesse, well...
Jesse, look out!
That there is a true friend. Took one for Jesse. Well, they get away, and while the rest of the sheriff's posse gathers up the rest of the Wild Bunch to take back to the coroner, Lonnie, wanting that award money, is going to go along with the marshal as he tracks down Jesse James. Well, After some time writing, Jesse comes upon a family, mother, father, and a very attractive daughter named Juanita. And after telling them that, his friend shot himself cleaning his gun, comes down to finding a doctor.
The bullet must come out.
I know it.
There's a doctor in Prescott.
Well, we can't go into Prescott. We can't go into any town.
I understand. I knew what you were when you first came into camp.
That's bad, because Hank's dying. He's got to get that bullet out. Well, there is one doctor, but, her parents are like, oh, no. Nobody's going back to that town, especially not you. So, feeling it her Christian duty to help Hank, they wait till everyone's asleep and then sneak out. At which point, the next morning, the marshal and Lonnie show up, and they start questioning him, and they say, we don't know anything. Although Lonnie finds the money that Jesse left behind to pay for their hospitality, and is convinced that they're lying. Marshall ain't too concerned, and he berates Lonnie for getting all medieval on him. That ain't how we do things when you're going straight. As for Jesse, Juanita, and Hank, well, they're having to brave some ominous dangers, like stock footage from another film. Whew. That was a close one. They almost interacted with that footage. Well, they finally make it to the town, and Juanita, she ain't going up to that castle. It's a monastery. But she sends Jesse and Hank up there, and when Rudolph sees them, because they asked for help, does he go to Maria and say, hey, remember that giant you were wanting to find? Well, he just showed up. No, he doesn't.
2 men, they are looking for a doctor. Perhaps it's the police.
Police here? Hundreds of miles from nowhere? You're a fool.
Yeah, that's silly. What do you think Maria's reaction is going to be when she meets them? You think Hank might suit her needs?
Perhaps.
Yeah, I think he'll do. Well, we then are treated to 2 scenes of the sheriff or the marshal being lied to. First by Juanita and then by Maria. Although she gets to learn from the marshal that it's Jesse James who's hiding out with her. She could use that information later, I'm sure. Well, only one fly in her ointment, and that is Juanita, who's still down in the village. The only one down in the village. So she has Rudolph bring Juanita up to help care for Hank, when really she just wants to keep an eye on her. Because we all know what she's got planned for Hank. Meanwhile, with all this time on their hands, Jesse reluctantly does some sparking.
When I first met you, I told you, I'm Jesse James. I'm an outlaw.
You are the outlaw. That I know. But you haven't told me. Do you want me to go with you?
I'd say that's a big yes. Of course, now Maria's got to take her turn to see if she can get him to stay.
I need you. I need your strength.
think we all have seen enough films where we know that a mad scientist does not take rejection well. So, on the day she plans to do her experiment in which she will replace Hank's brain with an artificial brain her grandfather created, this is the last one, so this is her last shot. She sends Jesse into Shelby with a fake prescription that's really telling the pharmacist he's Jesse James. And then we get the experiment. Even with the giant got problems. Oh, the reason she was wearing the other one was part of the problem was she needed a living brain to help energize the artificial one. But of course, Rudolph's going to try his old switcheroo syringe trick, but he gets found out this time.
Get him, Igor! Get him! Get him!
Hi, keeper!
I think that's all for Rudolph. Oh, and yes, she rechristened Hank Igor. Interesting side note here. This is actually the first time a Frankenstein film spelled Igor's name I-G-O-R. Fans of the Universal series know that Bela Lugosi's Igor from Son of Frankenstein and Ghost of Frankenstein spelled it Y-G-O-R. Little tidbit. And if a lot of that equipment looks familiar, that's because it is also the equipment Kenneth Strickfaden created for the Universal monster movies, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, all that stuff. Well, anyway, Maria, who had been seeing all this, hightails it out of there, heading for Shelby to get the marshal, or Jesse, anybody. This has gone way over crazy. Meanwhile, Jesse arrives in Shelby, gets the pharmacist, hands him the sealed prescription, at which point the pharmacist says he's got to go get some supplies. Hightails it over to the marshal's office, but Lonnie's the only one there, so Lonnie sets up an ambush.
I told you, Jason, I'd get nervous.
And there was much rejoicing.
Well, it doesn't take Jesse long to cotton to how he was set up. Considering prescriptions right there for him to look at. So he starts heading back to the monastery, where he runs into Juanita, who tells him not to go back to the monastery. He's got to. She says, if you go, I'm going to have to get the marshal because this is, and he's like, I got to. So he heads to the monastery. She heads to get the marshal. Jesse doesn't really do much after he gets to the monastery because as soon as he whips out his gun, Hank clobbers him from behind. Or I should say, Igor. And he's trussed up and... well, I think we can make a pretty good guess what Maria has in store for him.
I will use you in my next experiment. You see, Jesse James, I have won after all.
You know, she shouldn't get too smug. Smugness always does in a mad scientist. Before she can even get started on her experiment, the marshal shows up. Of course, she does still have Igor.
Hi, keeper!
that sheriff or marshal, has not been successful throughout much of this film, has he? Well, Juanita was with him, and so she goes to free Jesse, which then causes Maria to give the obvious order.
Hank!
Juanita?
Kill Juanita! Kill her! Kill Juanita!
Igor seems to be in a bit of a quandary. It's almost like he remembers Juanita. Well, I guess this is the end for Juanita.
Kill!
You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Oh, well, that was a shocking surprise. Unfortunately, seems Jesse does not have the same memory in Igor's brain that Juanita had.
Heck, don't make me kill you.
Looks like the history books could be wrong. Ford did not kill Jesse James. Oh, another shocking surprise. See if Igor has any last words.
Juanita.
That's a good ending there. Oh, of course, we have to have our wrap up. You know, the happy ending for the couple.
I love you, Juanita.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Or he could just say goodbye and ride off in the marshal's custody. Even though I don't believe from history that was how Jesse James ended up. I believe Frank was the one who voluntarily surrendered. Anyway, this plays fast and loose with the Jesse James legend anyways. After all, he was married at the time when this supposedly happened, yet he's up there romancing a lovely senorita. Yeah, I don't enjoy this one as much as I do Billy the Kid versus Dracula. Mostly because this one is very disjointed. You have that opening, that really fun opening with the experiment and the treachery. And then for the next hour, it is a straight Western. Even after they get to the Frankenstein household, it's more time dragging with the romance and the marshal showing up and getting led away and all that. We only really get like maybe 10, 15 minutes of monster action at the very end. And even that is kind of tepid. He throttles a couple of people and that's about it. Whereas with Billy the Kid versus Dracula, you've got interspersed between the normal Western action, you get vampire incidences sparse throughout, so that for the horror fan, it's a much better mix than this one, which is more Western than horror, as opposed to the other one, which was more half and half, my opinion. Plus, you don't really have a great horror star in it the way you did with John Carradine. And say like if you've ever watched the Hammer Frankenstein films that were coming out at this time, It didn't matter if the monster didn't appear until late in the film because the mad Dr. Frankenstein, Peter Cushing, was always such an interesting and fascinating character to watch through that. And this, no. Not a lot of characterization here. There's some action where Jesse fights with a native attacking him. And of course the shootout at the robbery and such. But for the most part, it's very light on any Western action. It's mostly just writing. Hi. Nice to see you again. Taz always likes to participate. So, yeah, as a Frankenstein film, it's a bit disappointing because there isn't really a lot of stuff going on. You want to see mad scientist stuff, and that just isn't happening here. More's the pity. Interesting concept to kind of blend Western and horror action. Although I think the best one to do that was probably Curse of the Undead, where you had a vampire gunslinger. That was a Universal film in the 50s. So of course, gonna have a good vampire in it. And it was interesting in that he was the slowest gunslinger in the world. And yet he always won the gunfights because even if you shot him, he's a vampire. He's not going to die. Yeah, it was an interesting film. Not a lot of Western horror hybrids. There's some. Probably the one that's best known for today, modern audiences, is probably Bone Tomahawk, which is a tough one to sit through once you get to the cannibalism. Be that as it may. This is a okay film. It's not great. It's not awful. It's just kind of boring. Well, with that, please hit like, share, and subscribe, and stay after the credits for my favorite scene.
Could have been them. I got a hunch they were here. Well, folks say Jesse James steals from the rich and gives to the poor. Adios, senor.